Hello, everybody, and welcome to this presentation of the ECL Elite Division right here on Sports Gamer. My name is Tuki, joined, of course, by my broadcast partner, Mr. Sin, for the win. And Sin, today we kick off week 5 of our spring season with two very interesting matchups, as everyone can see on their screen right now. Jyväskylä and SAWO ESPORTS kicking things off. And again, a little bit later on, our defending champions in H-Reds take on Färjestad. Really solid way to kick off this week.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, both Jyväskylä and SAWO ESPORTS, competing for some playoff spots. Jyväskylä currently just on the outside looking in. And of course, H-Reds, defending champions, Färjestad, one of those teams that we thought were going to be one of the more kind of top teams, or at least vying for one of those top spots. And it hasn't gone exceptionally well, bit of a slower start, but they're starting to really kind of figure things out down the stretch here.
Absolutely. Of course, Sin celebrating a birthday this weekend. So, as is tradition, had to get that in there. And very well done, of course, from our producer on the back end of that. I mean, Sin, let's take a look here at the standings heading into the matchups today. Again, the only two matchups that we have are the two matchups on this broadcast. So, of course, our Sunday special, so to speak. And as you can see, a lot of teams, really, we're just looking at those two teams on the right-hand side in Roots and IQ that still haven't hit the halfway point in this 30-game regular season. And a lot of teams now have crested that 2/3 of the way marker, but there's still so much to be decided. The points gap not exactly hitting that point where it's spread out enough for us to really kind of be able to say, okay, this team's certainly in the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at, honestly, places about, well, you could really argue from about 4 all the way to, 13, even with just from the sheer games played. I mean, it's so up in the air. Roots, again, if they just catch up to 16 games play where SAWO is right now, and they, get 3 out of 4 points each time, they've find themselves, right in the playoff mix, and with games in hand against some of the teams that are up there, including Havu. It's a lot can change here, but you have to get the results, and points so important down the stretch. Games in hand are good, but you have to be able to pick up points.
Absolutely. So again, very intriguing to see even what this happens to look like by the end of today's broadcast. Again, Jyväskylä, for example, back in the Elite Division, looking to be a playoff team, and there are some big points up for grabs against SAWO, who currently sit there in 6th place. Again, finished in 2nd in our winter season, but of course fell short in round 1. They're looking to bounce back and get to where they want to be. So with that, let's take a look at the two teams and the team stats that we have for this particular matchup. And Sin, it's if anything more interesting, for lack of a better term, with Jyväskylä, that they're in the position they are despite that negative goal differential.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just going to kind of bring that up. It's absolutely impressive that they're 9-6-3 with a -7 goal differential. Surely you got to think that's not sustainable. They're going to have to kind of right the ship in that way down the stretch here to be able to make it in, not only make it into playoffs, but to stay in that left-hand side of the bracket here. Whereas, SAWO sitting in that 6th seed currently has a very strong goal differential, less goals against than Jyväskylä has, and quite a few more goals for. The only kind of glaring issue is their power play at 4.35%, which I'm gonna guess is good enough for dead last in the Elite Division. I mean,
you are correct.
I don't think we've ever seen a power play percentage that low. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, 16th ranked power play, Jyväskylä 11th for comparison there. So definitely not what you would expect from SAWO in that regard. Let's get a look at the lineups for this particular matchup. And for Jyväskylä, an intriguing front three here is, again, we get a look at Aro in this matchup alongside Antti and Captain Indy. Again, Aro, one of those guys that I think a lot of teams had their sights set on as a potential pickup. It was Jyp who were able to bring him in. And of course, we get a look at his numbers here in a moment. The defense, Sile and Sakam with Kazu between the pipes. And for SAWO, the, of course, 6-man lineup that we expected to see pretty much all season long. Jurska, Moja, and Vatu, Captain Tambu and Teemu on defense, and the face of this season, Nike, in goal. And So we always do. We'll start off with that center comparison. It is Antti against Moja. And, Antti, one of the more, responsible two-way centermen in the game. But compared to Moja, obviously, the offensive side of things is rather one-sided on paper in this matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. And Moji, definitely a solid two-way player in his own right as well. And this is kind of what it kind of comes down to for Jyväskylä. A couple of people on the forward end just like kind of behind the eight ball when it comes to their point production. 15 points, 18 games played. It's below where you want. You want to at least be at point per game here, and quite often a fair distance ahead of it here. And Jyväskylä simply hasn't been able to do that so far in this season.
We'll look over now at the winger comparison here. Again, the previously mentioned Aro, one of the rookies for the season, at 15 points in 18 games. Not too bad. Indy, the only member of that front three, though, for Jyväskylä over a point per game. And then Sin, unsurprisingly, SAWO picking up where they left off, particularly Jyväskylä, last year's rookie of the year, if I am not mistaken. And again, just a really solid dynamic duo on that right-hand side for SAWO.
Yeah, absolutely. Jyväskylä and Vatu, they work so well together. They're a huge threat off of the rush as well as in their own end, really pressuring those defensemen. If you want to get your defensemen involved, which a lot of teams do, you have to be aware and give them enough time to be able to make a play, because both Jyväskylä and Vatu love to pressure the defensemen, look to force those turnovers and get a counterattack going the other way. We've seen so often where SAWO will kind of look like they're defending for quite some time, maintain the collapse, and all of a sudden they'll be able to force a turnover and have a crazy, quick counterattack going the other way, and oftentimes capitalize on it. So Jyväskylä is going to have to be aware of that in this matchup.
We again go to the defensive side of things. Sile and Sakam for Jyväskylä, Tambu and Teemu for SAWO Esports. Sin, what stands out for you here with this particular matchup?
I think really it's the physicality of Jyväskylä here. Quite a bit more physical play than SAWO Esports. And if it comes down to a rush game, they might not be able to, get as much physical play because, the more space there is out there, and if you miss a hit, it can definitely create some interesting situations. But if they're able to set up as a full man unit at the blue line, I think they could really, make that physical play kind of really work for them and be able to create some counterattacks going the other way. It's relatively close in the point battles for both of these guys. Sock them a little bit behind everyone else, but I think, well within the margin of error. So I'll really kind of be looking at that physical style from Jyväskylä to maybe be the difference here and create some counterattacks of their own.
And our final head-to-head, of course, the battle of the goaltenders, as Sin, both of them have honestly very respectable numbers for this season, both of them as well, over that kind of standard 80% save percentage.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Nike not able to duplicate his performance from last season, but that was going to be exceptionally hard to do. Nonetheless, he still got a solid save percentage, almost at that 83% mark, 2 goals against average and a couple shutouts to his name. The SAWO team, more eyes on them this season for sure. A lot more teams are looking out for them after their performance in the regular season last season. So, they've had to kind of adjust to that and, try to turn themselves into, more of a perennial contender here. And of course, that's a bit of a transition, but they're still looking pretty good.
So with that, we are just a few minutes away from puck drop. Again, game 1 of 2 in this regular season matchup that we have here. And Sin, obviously, we take a look, and I think we could throw it back to the standings here for a moment. Again, it will be a few minutes before we can get going with the action here. But as we talk about every time, so many different stories that you have up and down this lineup. And for these two in particular, again, SAWO, really determined to kind of get back to where they were last season for the sake of, I don't want to say, trying to prove that last season wasn't a fluke, but almost in a sense, that's kind of what we're looking at, right? Is, right now they currently sit in 6th and they have a lot to prove, whereas Jyväskylä, I mean, they know all about finishing towards the top half of the standings and then having things go horribly wrong.
Yeah, this is, Jyväskylä sort of paved the way for that possibility. Obviously, when you think about that upset of the 1 versus 8 seed, I think 4 seasons or so ago when they were upset by Färjestad, and SAWO kind of faced a similar thing, being that 2 seed and being upset by Granite Gaming. So yeah, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head right here. It is kind of a lot of things to prove here for For SAWO, I'd say more so because of the recency. Jyväskylä technically newer back in this elite division, a different lineup, of course, than they had in the past when they were that #1 seed. But obviously, they do expect playoffs out of themselves, and they're in striking distance of that. But yeah, for sure, SAWO has definitely a lot to kind of prove to the rest of the teams if they want to be considered one of those upper echelon teams. They got to make the playoffs, not again, or sorry, not only again, but try to make it past that first round as well, especially if they get favorable seeding.
Absolutely. So again, just a few minutes away from puck drop in this one. But Sin, the last thing I wanted to mention here with the standings, some of the surprises that we currently see: Conquer Gaming in fourth. Of course, Havu now in fifth place after a slow start to their season as well. And then maybe the biggest surprise of all, of course, IQ still currently sitting dead last. And at this stage, with just the 18 games to go, it's tough to see a road back into the playoffs for them. At this stage, though, you'd just like to think they'd be able to battle back far enough to not be in a relegation conversation.
Yeah, I think that's definitely has to be their kind of goal here. They have tons of games left to be able to do that, and so they're only 7 points on the season is extremely deceptive in that way. But at the same time, they got to start picking up those wins. They simply haven't had a good season, so all right now it's really just got to be about survival for them, and staying in this elite division. And they definitely have the skill to do it. It's just they just weirdly haven't been able to put it together so far this season.
Absolutely. So, with that, SAWO and Jyväskylä coming up. First game of two. Again, the home-and-home regular season matchup between these two teams. And Sin, again, we talk about these matchups and how things are going. SAWO likely the favorite in this particular matchup. Of course, the prediction is up in chat right now. As always, we want to see you guys get involved for that particular one, because there have been some interesting results. I mean, Sin, if I'm not mistaken, there have been a couple of like 90-10 splits where the
Mhm.
team with the 10% of the vote have gone on to win that particular matchup. The competition always so close and competitive in this league. Want to mention a few other things as well, a few other things to promote, of course. Why not throw it out to, of course, the website, sportsgamer.gg, where you can follow along with everything that we have going on here. Of course, not just in the elite division, but our pro coverage as well. Of course, Sin and I are here. Excuse me. Sin and I are here every Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday. We have our pro division coverage on Tuesday. And of course, there's everything else going on in all the other leagues that we have below that as well. And as you can see, Sin, we will be back here tomorrow. And of course, 1945 CEST, 2 hours later than today's broadcast. YMCA Esports taking on the previously mentioned IQ, and Roots Gaming taking on the new boys in Stargazing, who, again, all things considered, are in a half decent spot at this stage of the season for their first season in Elite.
Yeah, definitely not too bad. On pace to at least, for the most part, be able to have a good shot to stay in this division. That's always kind of the first step after you do make it into the elite. You want to try to stay there, or if you're goons, you immediately make the playoffs and things like that. But yeah, for Stargazing here, just like one step at a time, kind of following in the ZSC footsteps, who have managed to stay here, and they're now trying to push for that playoff spot.
Absolutely. So again, make sure to stick with us here all week long. This Wednesday as well, IQ, really our featured team this week. They take on Frölunda. Very tough matchup there. Goons will take on SAWO as they kind of bookmark our Elite Division coverage for this week. So again, we have today's broadcast. We'll be back on Monday and Wednesday. Before, correct me if I'm wrong, Sin, we have our little break in the season, and going to be very intrigued as well to see how that plays out and how that affects certain teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you think about a team like IQ, I'm sure this week and the next, the week 6 after the week break, they're going to have just tons and tons of games. So if they're able to go on a tear and get some momentum, that may actually benefit them. But if they start to struggle, all those games may really feel like more of a detriment and could be mentally taxing on them. So we'll kind of have to see and keep an eye on how their record begins to develop with all these games that they're going to be playing.
Absolutely. So you see the teams in the lobby there. No real surprise as always. Sin, puck moving defenseman and playmakers the theme, as they always happen to be. We always talk about that. The emphasis on possession over everything else is the primary style that we see on the European side of things. Want to mention as well, of course, we are still looking for the best or worst moments that you've had in NHL 22. Use the hashtag eHockeyMoments on Twitter and Instagram for your chance to win some IQ fuel. We are giving away a winner giving away a prize to a winner, I should say, every single week until the end of June. So again, that's hashtag eHockeyMoments on Twitter and Instagram. And of course, it's not the only thing that Wilhelm has going on with their e-hockey tour. They have stops going on every single weekend, of course. Sportsgamer.gg for all the information that you need, again, on the Wilhelm e-hockey tour. And again, one of these days, Sin and I will get our hands on some delicious Wilhelm snacks. One of these days. Sin, it might be close. We don't know. But one of these days, it might just happen. So very much intrigued, of course, to see how all that plays out. And just know we are very, very, very jealous of the opportunity, of course, with all the things going on. Of course, they've had the Wilhelm e-hockey tour. They've had all the street hockey stuff as well. The likes of ST hockey. We're jealous. What can we say? We are jealous people for those opportunities. But that said, the action ready to get going. SAWO Esports in their home. Black and yellow Jyväskylä at Kovalan Lakritsi just popping in saying, hey, don't forget about us. And Sin, how could we? It is SAWO in the black and yellow home jerseys. Of course, Jyväskylä in their road whites. Again, we shall see how the action plays out. Just 1 point separating the two of them at this stage of the season. As it is SAWO into the attacking zone. Only for the moment, Aro was able to pick that one off. It might be that back and forth defensive struggle that we see here in the early stages of this game, with how important it is for these two clubs.
Yeah, absolutely. And seeing a bit of a, I wouldn't say a little bit of hesitancy here, but more being careful. But there's that slap pass out.
And a pass back. That shot doesn't get through. Apologies for any potential interruptions as we continue on here. And there will be an offside call. 14-14 remaining here in the first period. Face-off won by Moja. Of course, you would have seen in that pregame head-to-head, huge hit there by Sile. So this one's going to be sent all the way back. Of course, Moja does have the face-off advantage in this season so far. Over 50% for him. Again, good defense by SAWO. Fatu sends that one down. Moja back to him. Backhand blocked. And Aro trying to get something going, stifled by Teemu. Unfortunately, looks at that one. Just goes to his right. Teemu, that big acquisition for SAWO. They're looking for him to kind of push this team to the next level. Here's a little bit of space for Aro. Big spin. Sends that one down low. Now back to the point. Sakham's shot doesn't go through. Sile shot, excuse me. A decent look there for Jyväskylä. Neither team really able to get that A-grade chance so far until right then. Jyväskylä makes no mistake, and SAWO take a 1-0 lead.
Beautiful job from SAWO on the counterattack. It was Teemu jumping up into the play to help get that puck into the zone. And once they do, a quick little pass out front, and Jyväskylä buries it on the far side. 1-0 now for SAWO. Excellent start for them.
Exactly what they needed to really get things going here early on in this first period. Jyväskylä's 14th of the season. Still second in terms of goals for the team, though. Vatu 18 on that right-hand side. He's tied for second in the league. Jyväskylä trying to catch up, though. Had a great chance. Vatu banked that one off the pads. Jyväskylä again, and that one goes wide. Out to the corner boards. Tambu dishes it down low. Jyväskylä again now. Good movement. Better defense from Yip to withstand that attack. Try to get something going here offensively. Antti driving to the net. Shot from Indy saved by the blocker, and that one again blocked down. Turnover here and sent right back. SAWO in control. Teemu holds at the point. Now it's Moja. Right back to him. They wanted Jyväskylä. That prime shooting position. Again, the defense able to stop him. A pass rocketed through. Another good pick off there for the SAWO ESPORTS. 3 minutes to play here in this first period. SAWO right back in on the attack. Teemu around the back. Vatu wanted that odd angle bank. It doesn't quite go. There's only been one mistake for Jyväskylä so far. Unfortunately, it resulted in that go-ahead goal for SAWO. Good save, good rebound control as well for Kazu. Vatu, Moja on the back. Jyväskylä wanted that wraparound, and send Kazu read it perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely. But SAWO really kind of getting the most of the plays set up that they want to. You know, YYP doing a pretty good job of covering some of the higher percentage scoring lanes, but SAWO's cycle, you can see just how quick it is. They're able to find some space here and there to get some alternate looks like those wrap plays and things like that. So
they may have another goal here late in the first. We mentioned him just a few minutes ago. There it is, number 19 on the season for Vatu, and it's 2-0 SAWO.
Just right off of the face-off. Looked like kind of a bit of a set play. Walks behind the centerman to get the puck pickup and then just rifles it on net, beating Kazu straight up. And SAWO ESPORTS taking a 2-0 lead here late in the first. And that one kind of hurts if you're Jyväskylä. You're looking for some pushback here, and SAWO just won't let their foot off the gas, and now they have a couple-goal lead.
Nervous moment there. Yep, almost able to take advantage. Huge hit. SAWO, though, able to kill the clock, and they will take a 2-0 lead here into the second period. We'll get another look at that opening goal from Jyväskylä.
It's just a really nice play. Kind of a good kind of spinning shot. Sometimes you don't get the best animations on that one right there, but he was able to get it off quick enough to where, you know, he was able to beat Kazu on that far side. And we saw a couple other plays where they wanted to get towards that middle. Jyväskylä was covering it a little bit more, but SAWO didn't, you know, try to keep going back for it. They would open things up when that happened. They're just in a really good spot right now, not only in the scoreboard, but their mentality in this game. They're really not trying to force the issue. They're taking what's being given to them, and you can see it right here. He passes to the open man, who then, you know, takes his time to spin and shoot right there. And this play, just really simple play, kind of uses the two guys there as a screen. Well, three of them, if you include the defenseman in front of the goaltender as well, and just beats him over that blocker side. So, you know, a couple really solid goals for SAWO. Jyväskylä going to need some pushback. They've had a couple chances, but for the most part, SAWO has been able to dictate the pace of this game. Their counterattack has looked good. Their cycle has looked good, and Jyväskylä hasn't been able to generate a whole lot offensively.
Second period underway here. Again, the first game of two between these two clubs on this broadcast. And our primetime special start time here on Sundays. We've had all season long. Moja, that one hit the post. Kazu forced to stop play, and we've seen it a few times from SAWO, those odd angles, just trying to catch Kazu off guard.
Yeah, and they're really not afraid to throw the puck on so much right now, which is probably good for them. And it's going to keep Kazu and really the defensive Jyväskylä on their toes.
Another shot and another save. Kazu again. Playing good rebound control in net so far. Big step up hit by Tambu. YYP, though, able to keep it alive. Antti sauces that one through. Nobody home, and a infraction there. Interference is the call. SAWO to the power play, and then they'll get a chance to work on that league's worst power play.
Yeah, that was Sile going to be taking the penalty there, and looked like he got in on the forecheck just trying to generate something, but unfortunately, you know, for them, they take that penalty. So at the very least, it's 2 minutes off the clock in favor of SAWO with the lead, but they're definitely going to want to try to score something here.
And SAWO, the league's worst man advantage, 4.3% on the season. Jyväskylä, 88% on the PK, good for second best at this stage. So complete opposite ends of the spectrum. And Yep, going to try to make something happen there. Nikkei forced to play that one. Looks like that down to 45 seconds on the SAWO power play. Sockham able to clear that one right back out. SAWO yet to get going. Really only have time here for one more rush. As they do gain the zone. Teemu for Tambu. Back for Vatu. Good save. Great read. I think Kazu might have been reading the pass more than anything. There will be an icing call there as we were back to 5-on-5. As soon that power play gets a little bit worse for SAWO.
Yeah, just it was hard for them to kind of maintain the zone here, which is kind of interesting. You know, they looked like at times they've been able to maintain the zone pretty quickly at 5-on-5. You know, it's just one of those things, you know, perhaps it's in their heads maybe even a little bit right here, but you know, Jyväskylä could have been a big mistake getting that icing after the penalty. I know they're trying to stretch that game out, but it presented another opportunity for SAWO with the offensive zone.
Vatu trying to get that one out of the zone. Hands off for Teemu, head of steam. Pass into the slot, nobody home. Tambu. For Moja. SAWO doing a good job of holding onto the puck despite the pressure. Jyväskylä misreads the situation. And another penalty there for Jyväskylä. SAWO gets another opportunity as we'll see Indy go to the box for that hit.
Yeah, that was just a bit unfortunate for him. He's trying to play Tambu pretty hard as Jyväskylä was swinging back in support of him and maybe just trying to force that turnover before Tambu was able to move the puck. And yeah, just really quite wasn't able to do that and ends up taking a penalty. So SAWO back to the power play, but just like that, an errant pass, and they clear the zone for Yip.
Again, I believe 0 shots on that power play for SAWO. Going to look to change that. Here's Moja. Pass broken up, and this might be the most steady offensive zone time they've had on the man advantage so far. Moja for Vatu. Wanted Jyväskylä. Couldn't get through the traffic. Now here's Aro. Going to try to make something happen here. Good job on the back pressure by Teemu. 25 seconds now. By Teemu to pick them up in stride. Better defense and cleared out by Sile. SAWO 0 for 2 on the man advantage. And just when you thought a 4% power play looked rough, it goes from bad to worse. Good defense there by Sockham. Has the puck again. Yep, trying to get something going here. Looking for their first goal of the game. Down 2-0, and maybe down a player there after that hit. Monstrous hit from Jyväskylä. At the line, sauced in front. Indy nearly got a hold of that one. Haven't been able to fully take advantage of these offensive opportunities. Yep, Aro again, another big spin back to the point. Sile avoids the pressure. One-timer and taken straight to the chest by Nikkei.
Yeah, Jyväskylä finally getting a bit of pushback here on the offensive side of things, but SAWO still doing such a good job. Their counterattack's looking good, and again, they keep throwing pucks on net to Kazu here, and the more time that Jyväskylä doesn't have in the offensive zone, just the more time kind of going by the wayside. We're approaching the end of the second period. Jyväskylä is still looking for that first goal here.
4 minutes to find it here in the second. SAWO will be forced to reset, but still in the driver's seat. And banked off the legs of a defender. What a bounce. SAWO still fighting hard for it. Yep, at least able to get it back to the neutral zone. That puck bouncing around, pinballing. Aro into the attacking zone. Has it again. Goes down low this time. Sockham looking for that switch, and a miscommunication there with Yip that simply can't happen. They have space, just not making the most of it.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. They're really trying to, starting to get some offensive pressure there and just gone by the wayside. And again, a bit of an errant pass there will lead to a turnover here. They just don't seem to be fully clicking in the offensive zone right now. They'll have it, well, not much of a chance, 1.2 seconds, which is enough to get a shot away, but yeah, an icing right there. Unfortunate for SAWO, but at the same time, Jyväskylä is not going to have too much of an opportunity here off the draw.
See if they can pull off a bit of a miracle, and the answer is no, as Moja wins that face-off. 2-0, still the score. Get another look at Jyväskylä. He's been all over the highlight reel for this game so far, and a hit like that is the reason as to why.
Yeah, absolutely. He's kind of just been running around as a wrecking ball out there, as a goal to his name as well. And, you know, it's just that SAWO kind of counterattack mentality, and the speed at which they play kind of, you know, lends itself to when those big hits happen. It can always kind of spark something pretty massive there. They've slowed down a bit on their offensive pressure. They only got about a minute in that period when you consider the power plays as well. That's definitely not exactly what you want to see, but that's just sort of how their season's gone. But that kind of, you know, lends itself as we look ahead towards the playoffs. And I'm sure Salvo's looking at least ahead a bit. They still have to make it there, you know, securely, but they got to be feeling as though they'll make it there. If you know, they've got to find a way, I think, to improve that power play a little bit going into the playoffs, because when you're playing all the top teams over and over again, and you're not able to make them pay for their mistakes, and some of those mistakes may include, you know, taking penalties here that could be detrimental for them. Now, they're making, you know, Jyväskylä pay for a couple mistakes here and there, but, you know, when your opponent's taking penalties, you have to at least present the threat of being able, you know, to capitalize on that sort of mistake, or else the other team's going to be able to throw your aggression, you know, even more back in your own face and not really be afraid to take penalties.
Timer block, second chance for Indy. Hit the side of the goal. Yep, still unable to find that first goal here to really get back into this game, and they are offside there as well.
Yeah, Jyväskylä just trying to look for some kind of a consistent attack here, down by 2 in the third period. You know, definitely within striking distance, but they haven't been able to find that consistency yet on the offensive side of things. The second it looks like they do, you know, an errant pass out of the zone, or they have a miscue and they don't exactly click on the passing play. And, you know, right there, SAWO doing a good job, and now just weathering the storm every time Jyväskylä tries to attack.
SAWO can do here. One more goal seems like it would certainly put this game to rest. Good block by Sile. Indy, team leading scorer with that golden helmet, the captain of this club. Good movement, the shot just wide. Dockham, good pinch in front, backhand denied. Great look for Aro. And Sin, that's the problem. You get these great chances, then you have one of the best goaltenders in the league who's able to make those saves. Vatu, and now it's Jyväskylä. His second of the game, and seemingly with 13 minutes to go, that should do it as SAWO take a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, let's see Jyväskylä taking the timeout right here, so we're able to get another look at it. Just kind of a hectic play out front, but that's what SAWO does so well on those counterattacks. Looks like they're actually looking for the other play first. It was a really nice opportunity there on the backhand, just trying to squeeze that one through. Nice little passing play down low, but it led to this the other way, and pretty simple from SAWO. Rush play, pucks and bodies to the net, couple shot opportunities there off legs, off of goalies, and then, you know, Jyväskylä finds it and is able to put it home on that glove side once again here. 3-0 for SAWO, and with 13:06 left, it's tough to see Jyväskylä getting back in this. They simply haven't shown enough offensive threat to really warrant thinking a comeback is possible, but here in the ECL Elite, anything's possible.
Again, Yip entering play today with the third fewest goals against. Good save by Kazu, played it out, dangerous, but he survives it. Third fewest goals against, the second worst. What a play! The second worst goals for average, and another big save there by Nike. Almost drifting into bad luck territory as opposed to poor play. Have not found the back of the net at this stage. Vatu avoiding that step-up pressure. Great movement, and it's just taken away. Another odd-angle shot for Vatu. That one's ending up out of play. Another face-off here with 8:55 to go.
Yeah, probably a buffered shot there from the corner as he skated over to get that puck. Just went off the pad of Kazu and floated up into where the netting would be.
SAWO in on the attack. We've said so many times in this game, here come Jyväskylä. Still a lot to play for. Goal differential, always a factor. even if it's unlikely that they score 3 in this last 7 minutes of regulation. Extra goal or two could always help. We've seen playoff spots decided and seeding decided on goal differential. Every goal for, every goal against certainly matters in this division. Now 5 minutes to play. SAWO took control of this game in the first period, and they'll have another power play here. It's an interference call. Yep, a bit too aggressive.
Yeah, that should probably pretty much do it for this one. Here's another 2 minutes will come off the clock for Jyväskylä. They're going to, have at least an opportunity to counterattack on the PK, especially with how, the performance so far SAWO has had. But it's just, I don't think there's enough time here in this one. And, SAWO's done a good job of, just playing their game. They got a lead, and they've really held on to it here.
Good save by Kazu. Opportunity for SAWO. Try and finally up that power play percentage. Again, 0 for 2 already in this game. Interesting spot for Jyväskylä where you might want that goal for, but might just be better to kill off the clock. SAWO looking to get set up. Rough turnover there from Indy, though, for Jyväskylä. Allows SAWO to get back on track. Aro, though, able to clear it out. Rambu wins that foot race, and already down to just 35 seconds to go on this power play. And what a goal! What a shot by Vatu! And SAWO get that power play goal, 1 for 3 on the day, and Vatu his second of this game, 4-0 for SAWO Esports.
Big goal for them, just for a bit of just a little bit of confidence on that power play. I was just kind of trying to roughly do some math in my head, and I think just by, average power plays across the season, that was only their second power play goal over the course of the season. If you're thinking about 4%, and the amount of power plays that would be possible, you got to think they've only capitalized on 1 power play so far this season. So that's a big goal for them right there. A little bit more confidence, boosts that percentage up quite a bit from where it was, and really putting this one away and guaranteeing themselves a couple points.
Just a few minutes to go here in this one. Icing is the call, and at this stage, we certainly look for something, any sort of building blocks in, as we always talk about, for a team like Jyväskylä to have something to, again, we call it a building block for a reason. Something to build upon heading into that next matchup. But here's a 2-on-1, and Vatu gets the hat trick. 5-0. SAWO, his 21st of the season. And it goes from bad to worse for Yip.
Wow, that's just a quick counterattack play. Teemu all the way up the ice. The pass finds its way to him. He gets it back over to Vatu, and he taps that one home. And a little bit more salt in the wound if you're Jyväskylä, and if you're SAWO, improving that goals differential definitely could come into effect with how tight this bracket has been all season long.
So a huge game here for SAWO Esports. Big time performance for those wingers. They'll have another power play. It's been all SAWO in terms of these power play opportunities. And worth mentioning at this point, with these 3 goals, Vatu has taken the league lead in goals. Now with 21 in 17 games played, although he might not be done, that passes Playmaker of Frölunda, who has 20 in 18. So what a performance from Vatu, not only, of course, in this game, but in the season in general.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's just been phenomenal, really, for this squad. He was, I think, came into today tied for second amongst the lead in goals, and, well, getting a few in this one definitely going to help his cause out for taking that #1 spot.
Indeed, Enterplay today tied with Lightning of Goons for second in the league. Of course, again, we'll be seeing Goons in action on broadcast this week. That one is dumped out. 30 seconds to go. Rush up the ice there for Captain Tombu, running straight into trouble. Vatu able to keep it in. And now it's Moja in front. Loose puck, still rattling around. Shot on and saved. The effort by Tombu. Puck cleared out with 10 seconds to go. A dominant performance for SAWO Esports. As that one goes wide. And that'll do it. Nikkei the shutout. His third of the season. And a great overall performance for his club.
Absolutely. They're terrific defensively. They got a power play goal, which has been few and far between for them over the course of the season. They really got their offense flowing in a lot of ways. The counterattack was good. We saw that more so at the end of the game when Jyväskylä really had to open things up. But early in the game, it was their forecheck and their cycle, which kind of allowed them to get going. And once they got that couple goal lead, you kind of saw them fall back into the play style that they're comfortable with, which is a strong collapse defensively, keep teams to the outside, and a quick counterattack to get pressure going back the other way. And once they had that couple goal lead, Jyväskylä just simply really couldn't get anything going. They couldn't penetrate that defense, and they couldn't establish any sort of momentum. The second, it really kind of felt like they maybe could get something going, they would, maybe turn the puck over or, have an errant pass or take a penalty, and it just wasn't Jyväskylä's game. And SAWO recognized that and capitalized on that with a 5-0 win and a big 2 points on this game to move them to 11-4-2 on the season.
And a more than convincing 5-0 victory for SAWO here in this first game. Shots, time on attack, the face-offs very much in their favor. And in terms of favors, Yip really doing themselves no favors there with those penalties as well. Certainly, aside from getting on the scoreboard, the main thing that they need to fix, getting that discipline on track.
Yeah, definitely. That really kind of slowed down a lot of their efforts in that one. It's anytime you take a penalty, it's essentially you're knocking off your offense really for about 2 minutes off the game clock. So, and not only that, oftentimes you're giving your opponent a chance to score maybe less of a threat with SAWO, but they were able to capitalize on that one. I believe they went 1 for 4, all things considered, which, not too bad over the course for their season here. But yeah, for Jyväskylä, just they weren't very dangerous, and that's you have to at least try to test Nikkei. They had a few shots on him, but the only good scoring opportunity I could think was that one where they had the backhand in close, and that was kind of it. 7 registered shots over the course of the game, just not enough threat being presented onto SAWO's defense and goaltender.
Absolutely. So with that, again, the first game of this broadcast in the books. We'll be back in a few moments here for the second game, and we'll see if Yip can kind of figure things out and get us a closer game in game 2. So stick with us. All right, and again, a big thank you to Wilhelm, Kovalan Lakritsi, and ST Hockey, of course, for sticking with us all season long. Sin a big result there again for SAWO Esports, now up to 11-4-2 on the season. Entered play today in 6, so a huge result for them. Now for Jyväskylä, though, you're looking at 9-7-3 on the season. It's your return to the elite division, and a loss like that, can certainly hurt. I mean, I think we've kind of seen it for those teams that are on the fringe. You need to be able to nab a point or two away from the bigger clubs. And, they have one more game to be able to do that, but at least one opportunity falling to the wayside in that first game.
Yeah, and it definitely wasn't a pretty game for them. Not only did they get shut out, but it was 5 goals against, and they took 4 penalties, and they just really couldn't establish themselves at all in any semblance of offense. And they're going to have to change that here in this next game. Yes, SAWO was one of those top teams, but we know Jyväskylä has got their eyes set on getting back into the playoffs here. They're so close coming into the day in that 9 seed, but failing to pick up any points in this matchup would be pretty detrimental to their chances moving forward. So they're going to, definitely be pushing to at least get a point in this one, if, not obviously the win.
A reminder a little bit later on in this broadcast, of course, our defending 2-time champions and H-Reds take on Färjestad. I want to also mention here, Sin, the schedule upcoming for Jyväskylä. H-Reds tomorrow. Doesn't get any easier. ZSC, Örebro, Roots, and Färjestad to end the season. That's a pretty tough run for Jyväskylä. at this stage. So if you want to really continue to push for a playoff spot, dare I say at least a point here out of this matchup would certainly go a long, long way for them. So again, we'll see what happens here in this upcoming matchup. Had to look ahead as well for SAWO. ZSC, Goons, Conquer, IQ, HV71. SAWO right now, great opportunity to pick up even more points and really push for one of the top 3 seeds in this division. A lot to play for both of these teams. Jyväskylä in their home black uniforms, SAWO in their road yellow. And we shall see how this one plays out. Again, the big 5-0 victory for SAWO in game number 1. Nowhere to go but up for Jyväskylä in this one. Look at that forechecking pressure from SAWO. Essentially 4 men in the attacking zone. Leaves a little bit of space down the other way. And again, a shot, or pass, I should say, goes right through the slot. Yeah, a loose puck is recovered by Tombu. A little bit of trouble for Tamo, but he still gets that pass out. Again, we'll see what that balance happens to be here, Sin, for Yip to kind of force the agenda here, be aggressive, but you don't want to be too aggressive and take penalties again. As that shot goes wide, and right as we say it, the commentator's curse alive and well. Delayed call here against Jyväskylä. SAWO with the extra attacker out. Nike posted up in front. And we'll see what SAWO can do. He scores! The extra attacker out. Nike posted up in front. He has the opening goal of this game, and best case scenario for SAWO, they don't have to go to the power play.
I was just going to kind of say that they're able to capitalize on the delayed call, and you know what a play by Nike. Just posts himself up front. The puck goes to him, and he tucks it in the back of the net. SAWO up 1-0 here, and Jyväskylä right back in the hole after losing that first game 5-0, and getting into penalty trouble again. It's not obviously there's no power play because of it, but because they took that penalty, the extra man got out there. That's a direct kind of cause of that goal here. They've got to, really stop the bleeding. It's carried over into this second game, and they can't afford that here at this stage of the season.
Needless to say, that is, I do believe, Nike's first goal of the season. Would you believe we don't track goals for goalkeepers here on our little prep sheet here with some of the stats that we have available to us? We might have to start Nike forcing the issue on that front with the opening goal of this game.
Yeah, we're seeing the definitely kind of some of the chirps coming out from SAWO. They're definitely one of the teams more than likely to do that here. A big hit late after the whistle. Some of the L1s coming out afterwards. They're feeling good about their position here and getting in the heads a little bit of Jyväskylä as well.
Well, if there was a team to chirp, it would be a team with SAWO's logo, I do suppose. As they are right back in the attacking zone. Mo's shot, and a good chance there for Batu to deflect it. Kazu able to make what is honestly, even though we're in the early stages of this game, a big save.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, SAWO's really not hesitating. You see how quickly they enter the zone. You see how quickly they want to attack. But again, they continue to take what Jyväskylä is giving to them. They see that Jyväskylä is following, the forwards down low. They pass back to the point, get a quick shot on. Before, there was no hesitation in that shot from Tamo. I love that. He just rips it on because he's going to have at least a body near the front of the net, whether you get a screen deflection or maybe even a rebound chance. Throw that puck on net. It's the decisiveness for SAWO right now that's really giving them the advantage in this one. And that's kind of what we're seeing the opposite a bit from Jyväskylä. It's a dangerous pass right there, but Anti's able to walk it out of trouble. When they gain that line, they're either trying to force something or get it to an open area, but they just hesitate a little bit.
SAWO back in control momentarily. Space, Aro in front, just couldn't tuck that one inside the short side post. There's Yip in possession, Sock back down low for Indy. All the way to Sile. He couldn't handle that one. 5 minutes to play here in the first period. SAWO fresh off of that 5-0 victory in game 1. Already up 1-0 in this one. Tombu. That extended wraparound. Knocked loose. Now it's Aro again. Walk down low, and again, quickly back to the point. Sock'em has a couple of options. Again, elects to go down low. Quickly back to the point. Sile can't get that pass through. What a play there to catch Mosier in stride. Still fighting for the puck. He has it. Huge hit as Indy intercepts it. Loose puck, unfortunately. Mosier still laboring in the corner.
Yeah, still struggling to get to his feet right there. But again, thinking back, JYP Jyväskylä had some good zone time. I don't believe they registered a shot out of it. And that's just kind of a microcosm of how this series has gone for them so far.
That one off the pad of Nikkei. Final few seconds. Yep, trying to get something here. Pass into the slot, handled by Mosier. He will kill the clock. And a 1-0 lead here for SAWO ESPORTS as the stand-in for Nikkei, Liam Magnuson, gets the highlight. A goalie goal to start things off. The extra attacker was out on a delayed call.
Yeah, pretty solid start from SAWO. Once again, they have kept JYP Jyväskylä off the scoring sheet for yet another period, 4 periods straight now for SAWO ESPORTS. More of a tentative lead than they had in that first one. So I would like to see them, not sit back and try to defend and counterattack yet. I think they need at least 1 or 2 more goals before they kind of start to do that, which is, more their style here. But, they start off really good, and I love their offensive presence. I think they're doing exactly what you need to do is, take what the opponent's given to you. And, JYP Jyväskylä has not been doing the same. They have over, near 2 minutes of time on attack, but only that 1 registered shot. I think they're trying to just be a little bit too perfect, and you can kind of fall into that trap sometimes when you're struggling to score, when you're down in the series. You want those high-quality opportunities. You feel like you really need to look for those, but, you haven't scored in 4 periods. I think at this point you can open it up a little bit, go for some, I guess more common plays, shots from the point and just crashing that for rebounds, at least like some lower percentage, but things that could set you up to at least gain some momentum and extend that zone time.
Second period underway. Yep, still looking for their first goal of this broadcast. Now 4 periods down, but outscored 6-0 by SAWO ESPORTS. Back in the attacking zone. Vatu's shot again handled well by Kazu. He has played better than what those score lines would indicate. He's forced to cover the puck there. See what happens, AC. 4 shots to 1. Just 1 shot as well for JYP Jyväskylä so far. Not the start they needed. Are in possession here, though. Knocked loose. Again, that's the issue. Just not much extended zone time, and when they do get that extended zone time, they just can't seem to put the final touches on the opportunity in front of them.
Yeah, they seem to, continue to want to get back to the middle, but we know how good of a collapsing team that SAWO is. That was a nice opportunity. Indy just kind of ripping a shot right there. A juicy rebound popped out. They couldn't get to it, but I like that mentality a bit more from JYP Jyväskylä. You grab the puck, okay. Well, he thought shot before anything else, and that's a good thing. That's what JYP Jyväskylä kind of needs right now. Some people thinking shot and trying to take those chances themselves.
Off the face-off, it will be SAWO, just momentarily in control. Way back for Sock'em, a lot of space, but no shot attempts, at least not too many from the point. And Vatu now gets it up for Jyväskylä, right back over. Temu's shot blocked. And Jyväskylä always fighting for the puck, one of the better forecheckers in this division. Vatu again, the interception. So I think that's what's so impressive about the forward combination for SAWO. Incredible offensive threats, but I think underrated by some perhaps in terms of their forechecking ability and their two-way game in general.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at their numbers, they put up impressive numbers, but so much of that is due to their good defensive play. And we kind of mentioned as much in the pregame, they're so good at, kind of creating counterattacks with their defense, whether it be in the neutral zone or, in the defensive zone. We haven't seen too much of a chance for them to do that in this one, as JYP Jyväskylä is not presenting enough scoring threat from their points for them to really want to pressure them.
Yep, again in control. Looking for that goal, if anything. Again, it's still a close contest here. One shot can be the difference. Get back into this. SAWO, though, that pass across, a little bit off the mark. Moja has it. Feeds it back to the point. Brought on. Jyväskylä just misses that corner. Love side. ECL. Couple of quick passes for Jyväskylä. Antti onside, immediately surrounded by 3 people. Good pressure for Jyp. Aro back for Indy, wants to go in front. There is no space there whatsoever.
Collapse from SAWO is just as good as it's ever been, really. I mean, that's kind of their bread and butter in the defensive zone. Their collapse is so strong, and their counterattack is so fast afterwards. They're able to force a turnover here. Jyväskylä, though, back into the zone with another opportunity.
2 minutes to work here in this period. A surprising lack of an interference call there. Moja sends it around. Jyväskylä there to pick it up, and again, Fatu right there to assist.
Sit down.
Jyväskylä takes the big hit. Couldn't make the play, though. Yep, again in the zone. Wraparound scores! With 8.9 to go, they finally have their breakthrough. Aro on the wraparound. We're tied at 1.
That's a big goal right there. You could kind of see them looking for that maybe at times. They've done a lot of kind of setup plays behind the net, but they haven't been able to find a whole lot from it. They've mostly been looking to get to the one time after the pass from behind the net, but that one just quick on the rush. Indy to Aro, and he's able to get that wraparound off before Nicky can get back across to the crease. Be careful here, SAWO looking to press for one more. 3.1 seconds left, but that's a great response from Jyväskylä, and they're able to tie the game up. SAWO hasn't been able to generate as much offense, or at least capitalize on the chances as they did earlier on in the last game. So Jyväskylä, good opportunity here.
The draw, face off one, good kick save by Kazu, and Jyväskylä perhaps frustrated he wasn't able to pick that puck up. That will do it for the second period, and a big moment for Jyväskylä. Again, their first goal of the night. That wraparound from Aro ties it up at 1 apiece.
Hopefully they're going to be able to kind of at least sort of build upon that. You know, they got their first goal here. The game's tied up, and it's as best of a position as they could be in, really heading into the third with the way it's gone so far, and in this game too. I mean, but they've caught up in that time and attack. They've been able to get a few more chances here or there. SAWO isn't able to get the volume of chances, nor really the quality of chances that they're able to get in that last game here. Jyväskylä has done a better job of defending, and you know, now that they finally got their goal, perhaps that kind of opens up the floodgates, so to speak, for them. And we're going to need to see them continue to push as they have in this one. And again, need to take more of what's being given to them, like they did on that goal right there. They kind of took to the behind the net. Okay, just try to, you know, instead of forcing that play looking for a one-timer, just take the wraparound instead, and it ended up working out for them. So maybe that kind of gives them the confidence they need to start just taking what SAWO's been giving them on the defensive end, which is a lot of the perimeter stuff, is that we know how good their collapse is.
Third period underway. This game certainly up for grabs at this stage. 5-0 to score from game 1. Surprising fact for SAWO, the only player to score a goal in this game is their goaltender. Stockham having to walk the tightrope there to not turn it over. Nice and call here against Jyväskylä.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what they're looking for right there. It was a slap pass, not towards any boards. Maybe just trying to hit Indy, hit Indy cleanly right there on that right wing side. It's just maybe a bit of a miscue.
Good play there, but again, SAWO able to keep it alive, at least momentarily.
It's okay. It's just a
Big
game.
hit there, and a power play coming up for Jyväskylä. It would be, for Jyväskylä. Kazu's out. Couldn't match the goal-to-goal pace. I think, yeah, we are good to go there. So there is the hit. Is Teemu going to the box?
Yeah, this is going to be the first power play opportunity for JYP Voskala, so we have a chance to see that getting to work here. It's the 11th ranked at 20%, but 20% is not too bad. You want to be closer to that 25% mark, but definitely in better shape than SAWO's has been, but SAWO will win that face-off and get that initial clear, so JYP Voskala are going to have to work extra hard now to get that zone.
Let's see here what JYP are able to do on this power play. Their first chance of the afternoon, Aro denied. Another chance for Aro, that one blocked, loose puck bouncing around. Delay at the point, good shot, better save. And a tough one for Nikke. Great sustained attacking zone pressure, toe drag, shot from the point, doesn't go, still bouncing around, and held in again by Sile off the clearance attempt. Final few seconds of the man advantage. That puck loose in front, Nikke forced to cover. Dangerous moments there.
Good power play looks coming out from JYP Voskala right there. I really like that attack. Once they gained that line, they were not going to give it up right there, and that was just a good job from them. A lot of down low shots. You can see 5 registered shots for JYP Voskala in this period to the 0 of SAWO here, so JYP Voskala doing a good job.
Good interception there by Moja. Latu now, of course, that hat trick in game 1. Let's see what they can do. Hands it off Aranti. A little bit of space in the middle. Wanted Indy. Get that puck clean. Aro help wins it back. He does win a back sock shot. What a great poke check there by Yerska. 9 minutes to play here in this third period. Job there by Teemu to withstand some pressure. Rare miscommunication on that breakout, though, for SAWO. For JYP, not able to get him going down the other way either. Latu tried to go to the point. Job by Aro, who's in a foot race now with Tombu, and he's going to win it. Antti wanted to hit Indy there. Good read by Tombu, made up. Losing that foot race.
I don't know if we've seen a single one-time get off from JYP Voskala. SAWO's just been all over those potential looks and just continue to intercept and break those chances up.
I mean, we do know that playing the puck into the middle, of course, the primary strategy. It's where you want to be. Those high-quality chances. Yerska now, 4 minutes to go. Vatu wanted to try to tuck that one in from the short side. And he was denied. A little bit of space now for Indy. 2-on-1. Couldn't get the shot off. Had to pull the trigger a little bit too late.
I am getting too old for this.
Vatu's pass rockets across. 2 minutes to play here. Delay. For JYP Voskala. Quick out to Indy. Just offside.
Wow, that looked extremely close to my eyes right there. Kind of surprised it was called. That was a beautiful out from JYP Voskala here, but unfortunately, going to lead to an offside all the way back in their end.
Eli gets that outlet pass. Bit of space here, perhaps. Here's Indy. Has help. Pass across. Tombu there again. Not a single pass finding its way through. Moja at the point. Quick set of give and goes. Latu takes the hit, still has it. Teemu hit the post. Puck still loose and kicks out to the far side. 30 seconds to play. SAWO trying to win this one for JYP Voskala right now. The icing call there opens the door. Perhaps JYP Voskala in line to get a point. 2 points would be that much better.
Absolutely, but what a chance gone by the wayside. Teemu down low, getting that shot just off the post with that little short side bid from the behind the net pass.
That shot picked off. Sock'em feeds it up to Indy. Final 10 seconds. Antti holds on to it. Again, tried to find Indy. Chance blocked. Puck still loose. That should do it. And it will. We go to overtime here in the second game of 2. A hard-earned point for JYP Jyväskylä.
And really a much better response from them in this game here, as you saw Vatu just trying to sneak that one home, and a good opportunity to do so. You see that 5-hole clearly open. Not too sure if he's going for that or going for like trying to sneak it in on the short side, but nonetheless a good opportunity for him late down the stretch. SAWO was definitely threatening, but JYP Jyväskylä able to stave them off and actually had the majority of time in attack as well as registered shots. So overall, a good game, a good third period for them. We're going to see that Teemu chance. Didn't quite elevate it enough, but always kind of scary. That one easily could have kind of slipped in or been knocked in right there. So fortunate for JYP Jyväskylä, and if you're SAWO, there's a nice chance at the end of the game here, but want to try to do a bit more to get some offense going here because defending has done well, but at the same time, you only have 1 goal for, and it's a tie game here. So see which team is going to be able to stretch this game out enough to be able to find that game winner.
Opening face-off goes the way of SAWO. And sudden death overtime rules here. We will stick with it until we have a winner, however long that may take. Here is Aro, the lone goal scorer for JYP now through 6 periods of play. What an outlet there to Jyväskylä. Hudson nearly picks the corner. That was a beautiful move to cut in and get into that shooting lane.
Yeah, he had Kazu sliding the other way as well.
A lucky break there as Indy banks that one off the back of the net. SAWO unable to gain the line. A little bit of space now for Indy. JYP in the attacking zone. Antti tried to shoot that one, and really a lucky bounce or two there, and that might just be what they need to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Tombu definitely could have accidentally knocked that one in with the way the puck bounced right in towards the skate and the stick. We've seen so often those puck pickups are just, going off the defensemen have led to own goals here. So a bit fortunate there for SAWO, and JYP Jyväskylä, the pushback they've really needed in this one. They're threatening.
More zone time for JYP. SAWO in possession here, though. As always, that safe, reliable pass. Has it again here. Jyväskylä will dump it in. Vatu wins it clean. Good job, though, by Sile to take it away. Turned over. Moja shot. Glove save by Kazu.
I like that play by Moja, just winding up right there when he's got a little bit of space. You never know when that can just flat out beat a goaltender, but Kazu made it look like nothing. Just reached out with the glove casually and nabbed it.
Off the face-off. It's going to be JYP with a clean win. Good moment there for Antti. Sile can't get it away from Vatu. Jyväskylä shot again. Tried to pick the corner. Good blocker save. And Kazu backhand from Vatu. And he draws the trip as well after missing the net. Power play coming up here for SAWO. And an unfortunate penalty there for Aro leads to another man advantage for SAWO.
Yeah, this is real big for SAWO. I mean, they did a great job on that possession there. A couple in-tight chances, and then, the penalty taken. A chance for them to end it on the power play.
Vatu down low. Moja again denied by the blocker. One-timer broken up by Indy. SAWO, though, still in possession. Vatu to the forehand. Drops back again for Teemu. His shot, rebound, another big save by Kazu. 2 in a span of 2 seconds or less. Jyväskylä's shot broken up. Indy can't get that pass. Puck fought on for, held in by Tombu. Vatu back in front. We're even. Man out of the box, but a good read by Teemu to take it away. Tremendous work by Kazu to keep JYP Jyväskylä in this one. As Indy. Back to the point for Sock'em. Indy again. That shot broken up. And SAWO in control, 6.5 to go. Loose puck recovered, turned over. Indy again. Defense Teemu's been phenomenal in this overtime.
Yeah, he really has. I mean, especially on the tail end of that power play, too, when Tombu kind of had committed to the attack, 4 men down low. Teemu made sure to stay back, was actually able to intercept that long kind of stretch pass out that JYP Jyväskylä was looking for.
3.5 in this OT, and an offside call there as we look for the winning goal here. Will be held in by Jyväskylä. One-timer, and they score! A heavy, heavy clap from the point for Teemu. SAWO Esports going to walk away with 4 points on the night as Teemu gets the job done here in overtime.
Yeah, Jyväskylä only able to muster the single point, but SAWO, I mean, that was just a beautiful shot from Teemu there, getting rewarded offensively for his efforts on the defensive side of the puck. Well, really all series, I mean, just he's been great in this one, and you know, has been able to drive some of the offense himself by getting in on the rush, but and in that one, you know, getting rewarded with the game-winning goal in overtime, kind of seemingly coming out of nowhere, but that's how it can feel sometimes. Just a really nice attempt from SAWO, and that's what they did. I think that really kind of separated them from JYP Jyväskylä. I don't know if we saw too many shots coming out from JYP Jyväskylä from the point, but Teemu never afraid to pull the trigger, and on that one, the prime scoring opportunity there picks that glove side corner. SAWO wins in overtime, and they get a huge 4 points in this matchup here to bring them to 12-4-2. And dare I say, maybe a little bit more of a lighter schedule than JYP Jyväskylä moving forward. So SAWO will have a really good chance to perhaps get up into that top 3 of the standings, to say the least, here as we get another look at that first goal. It was off of Otto there as on the shot from the point. And again, shot from the point, he gets the puck towards the net. Nikkei was able to kind of, you know, just clean it up right here. This was a great pass. You know, Indy down low, and then Indy down low, and then Otto were able to kind of take that wraparound chance when Nikkei couldn't quite get back to close off the post here. But other than that, I mean, it was a pretty not exciting game, but not a whole lot of goals being scored. Kazu had some big saves, but there just couldn't quite get the glove on that. You think back to that power play when made the initial save, then slid over to get the rebound as well. He was really doing his part, especially there in the overtime, but JYP Jyväskylä simply couldn't find a way to get that game winner, and SAWO take that second game for, as we said, a huge 4 points on the day.
So with that, our first matchup of the day in the books. We'll be back after a brief intermission. H-Reds and Färjestad still to come here on this particular broadcast. So again, stick with us. We will be back in just a few minutes for more ECL Elite.